Hello and welcome to another edition of ProtoMet's First Impressions, where I give my thoughts on the first episode of any new tokusatsu show. And I technically am cheating, because I'm technically talking about the second episode of GARO Higashi no Kairou, or GARO Sentinel of the East. But that's because the previous episode was episode 0, and it was just a clip episode recapping the previous seasons that focused on the Ryuga continuity of the GARO series. GARO gets complicated, but it's also not super complicated. But so episode 1 is where the story properly starts. Episode 0 ends with Ryuga arriving in the desert to find seemingly nothing but sand. The bulk of this episode takes place in a desert town of Sagan, in which one night the horrors just start attacking and a sandstorm is coming. Apparently this is becoming a more regular occurrence, and while they don't have any knights to protect the town, they do have a couple Makai priestesses. Elmina, who is a new character played by the same actress who played, I'm trying to remember her name, Lachesi from Kamen Rider Gachard, who had also previously played a character in Kamen Rider Amazons. I don't remember that character's name, though she is one of the major characters in that. But here now she's playing a Makai priestess. The other Makai priestess is Rian, who is returning from two of the previous Ryuga seasons, having skipped out on Ryuga. The first two Ryuga seasons, having decided to skip out on the last Ryuga season. And they fight a bunch of horrors. Fairly generic guys wearing face paint type horrors, which fine. But then like 3 or 4 of them end up fusing into this like Frankenstein junk monster, which they can't defeat. And then Ryuga shows up to also fight, and then some other mystery knight shows up to also fight the horror, but also fight Ryuga because he's a huge mystery. And then when they do ultimately defeat the monster after a long drawn out battle, during which Ryuga never actually transforms into his GARO form, the monster is defeated, and this mystery knight just kind of evaporates into darkness. At some point we get introduced to a Makai priestess who is in charge of the town, Hidan, I forget which, and she provides most of the exposition during the show's towards the end of the show, during the show's third act, which I'll get to. Trying to remember what else. I mean, I guess I gotta talk about it because they beat the big horror of the episode, and then Hidan explains that Ryume, who was from 2 Ryuga seasons prior, had to come to Sagan as a high-ranking Makai priestess. Again, lots of lore if you're familiar with the Ryugaverse. But she is currently in a cocoon. She apparently fell into a coma and is now in a cocoon. Apparently, there's some story of the Dragon of the East, who's supposed to be reincarnated every 500 years. They don't know exactly when the Dragon of the East will be reincarnated. They just know that it'll be reincarnated through a member of the Dragon Tribe, and given how Rian looks in this particular scene, it's pretty obvious that she's going to turn out to be the Dragon Tribe member that's going to have the dragon reincarnated in her. Some point later, she has a conversation with Ryuga, which I'm not sure if it was just poor translation on the subtitles on the YouTube version, but it indicates that she broke up with Ryuga, which, I mean, doesn't seem like something she'd do, given their interactions in the 2 seasons they shared. But, I mean, it's entirely possible that the translation just screwed up them breaking off their partnership temporarily, because the previous episode did show that she got called away for some duty while Ryuga didn't. Earwax. But yeah, it seems pretty clear that Rian's probably not going to survive the season. At least not in her human form. The fight scenes were great. I liked the fight scenes. The exposition was just kind of, yeah. I mean, I'm definitely going to watch more of this series, but I'm not expecting something great, to be honest. I mean, the previous season was fine. I don't know. Check it out if you want to. I don't know. I'm doing a pretty poor job of trying to convince anybody to check this out. You're probably just going to skip this video. In fact, I could have done this video like 2 days earlier, but I kept putting off actually watching this first episode for just reasons. I mean, I guess I'll see you guys next week for the first episode of that new Gavin show that's coming out. Kind of looking forward to that. That'll be interesting, but yeah. So yeah, until next time, I'm ProtoMet's. See ya. Also, no, I'm not dead. I just haven't had anything to try on the channel. That's why this is the first video that's coming out in over a month. I just haven't had anything to do a video on. Anyway, bye.